explaining gender differences in the crime rate. Masculinity hypothesis. Early criminologists pointed to emotional, physical, and psychological differences between males and females to explain the differences in crime rates. Cesare Lombroso's 1895 book, The Female Offender, argued that a small group of female criminals lacked typical female traits of piety, maternity, undeveloped intelligence, and weakness. In physical appearance as well as in their emotional makeup, delinquent females appeared closer to men than to other women. Lombroso's theory became known as the masculinity hypothesis. In essence, a few masculine females were responsible for the handful of crimes women commit. Chivalry hypothesis. Another early view of female crime focused on the supposed dynamics of sexual relationships. Female criminals were viewed as either sexually controlling or sexually naive, either manipulating men for profit or being manipulated by them. The female's criminality was often masked because criminal justice authorities were reluctant to take action against women. This perspective is known as the chivalry hypothesis, which holds that much female criminality is hidden because of the culture's generally protective and benevolent attitude toward women. In other words, police are less likely to arrest, juries are less likely to convict, and judges are less likely to incarcerate female offenders. Although these early writings are no longer taken seriously, some criminologists still believe that gender-based traits are a key determinant of crime rate differences. Among the suspected differences are physical strength and hormonal influences. According to this view, male sex hormones, androgens, account for more aggressive male behavior, and gender-related hormonal differences explain the gender gap in the crime rate. Self-incriminating behavior of females. Verbally proficient, many females may develop social skills that help them deal with conflict without resorting to violence. Females are taught to be less aggressive and to view belligerence as a lack of self-control, a conclusion that is unlikely to be reached by a male. Girls are usually taught, directly or indirectly, to respond to provocation by feeling anxious and depressed, whereas boys are encouraged to retaliate. Overall, when they are provoked, females are much more likely to feel distressed than males, experiencing sadness, anxiety, and uneasiness. Although females may get angry as often as males, many have been taught to blame themselves for harboring such negative feelings. Females are therefore much more likely than males to respond to anger with feelings of depression, anxiety, fear, and shame. Although females are socialized to fear that their anger will harm valued relationships, males react with moral outrage, looking to blame others for their discomfort. Cognitive differences. Psychologists note significant cognitive differences between boys and girls that may impact their antisocial behaviors. Girls have been found to be superior to boys in verbal ability, while boys test higher in visual spatial performance. Girls acquire language faster, learning to speak earlier and faster with better pronunciation. Girls are far less likely to have reading problems than boys, while boys do much better on standardized math tests. This difference is attributed by some experts to boys receiving more attention from math teachers. In most cases, these cognitive differences are small, narrowing, and usually attributed to cultural expectations. When given training, girls demonstrate an ability to increase their visual spatial skills to the point where their abilities become indistinguishable from the ability of boys. Cognitive differences may contribute to behavioral variations. Even at an early age, girls are found to be more empathic than boys. That is, more capable of understanding and relating to the feelings of others. Empathy for others may help shield girls from antisocial acts because they are more likely to understand a victim's suffering. Girls are more concerned with relationship and feeling issues, and they are less interested than boys in competing for material success. Boys who are not tough and aggressive are labeled sissies and crybabies. In contrast, girls are given different messages. They are expected to form closer bonds with their friends and share feelings. Their superior verbal skills may allow girls to talk rather than fight. When faced with conflict, women might be more likely to attempt to negotiate, rather than to either respond passively or to physically resist, especially when they perceive an increased threat of harm or death.